everybody, and welcome to the start of the series where I go through the short story universe I created as a little kid. In this episode, since it's the first episode, it makes sense to start from the very beginning and go through how I created Diamond Man. But before we do that, a little bit of background, how we're going to do this. So, what is the Diamond Man universe? That's probably the question we should actually start with. It is a universe that consists of 15 stories, 20 if you count the rebooted universe of 5 stories, and with just 20 stories total. And basically, they're all about Diamond Man and some other heroes, which we will get to when we get to them. Features many original characters, which I just said. That you might notice quotations here. It's because they're original in the same way that, maybe original in the same way that Thanos is original. Like, he's based off of Darkseid, so he's not just completely original. He actually is based off a DC character, so a lot of the characters are based off of other comic book characters, but they're changed just enough for the most part that you're probably not going to notice who it's based off of, with a few exceptions. And I shouldn't have to point them out, but I probably will. The universe has 4 phases. 5 if you count the reboot as a phase, which we will for the purposes of this video. I'll go through all the phases, like what they're about, kind of, in this video. I'm not going to give you any story details. I'm going to let the name of each phase speak for itself. Phase 1, the classic phase. This is where my first 4 stories belong. First one, Diamond Man. My very first short story with Diamond Man in it, obviously. I mean, it's not exactly the first short story with Diamond Man in it, but it's the first one where he officially has the name Diamond Man and he's actually established. So I guess it is the first story with Diamond Man. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, next one is Diamond Man 2, Diamond Man 3, which this one is special because it's the first time I use somebody else's hero in my story, which I will get to when I get to. And no, it is not a copyrighted hero. It's one that a friend of mine made. Like, we realized we created our own heroes before meeting each other and decided to make a universe where they met each other. Next, that'll bring us to Diamond Man Begins. And it's Diamond Man's official origin story and the first chronologically in the timeline. So just so you know, the stories aren't necessarily chronological. Like, even the phases themselves aren't chronological, which you'll see when I get there. So, phase 2, the Power Gem phase. I'll let you try to figure out what this one's about. So the first story is Diamond Man Falls, which introduces a lot of new characters. Diamond Man Forever, Diamond Man vs. Monster Man, Diamond Man and the Assassins, Diamond Man Rise of the Mystery, which is the endgame of this universe. Like, you know how there's Avengers Endgame? Well, this is the Avengers Endgame of my short story universe. And it happened before Avengers Endgame. And then the Adventures of Diamond Man, which is kind of like a breather after the previous story. It's stupidly short and it's not even really a story. So this phase actually brings you to how I'm going to cover the stories. Like, since some stories will just introduce new characters as if you already knew them without being introduced beforehand, I'll probably make a video. How I'm going to do it is I'm going to make a video covering each story, but there will be, my next video will be on the first story of Diamond Man and the second story, and then I'll take a break to cover what happened between Diamond Man 2 and 3 in the real world to explain stuff, to help you understand, because I will have to do that. There'll be times when I have to do that. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, Diamond Man Falls is one of those times. And that brings me to phase 3, the future phase. The first story is The Adventures of Diamond Man 2, The Adventures of Diamond Man 3, and The Adventures of Diamond Man 4, even though I probably should have made this one large story or just 2 stories, because it really got stretched out then in the end.
Brother,
Too much stretching out, but yeah, this one takes place in the future. This is the last phase chronologically. In phase 4, just chronologically between phases 2 and 3, called The Mystery of Cityville, which is Mystery of Cityville Part 1, and the first story that doesn't include Diamond Man in the name. And Mystery of Cityville Part 2 being the second and only other story to not include Diamond Man in the name. And yeah, basically kind of like a transition from phase 2 to phase 3, like tonally. It's like phase 2, it's like more modern day, and then phase 3, it's like in the future. Like the city has changed drastically, so it's like a way to get from point A to point B, basically. Then the reboot phase, which includes all new Diamond Man, all new Diamond Man 2. And yeah, so basically just 5 stories. There actually is a story, like an overarching story this time that I have planned out from the beginning. Like with the other ones, like I wrote one story at a time without thinking of where it's going to end up, which you'll see when I cover the stories individually, how there wasn't much of a plan. So basically, easy way of thinking of this is like the first 4 phases are like part of are going to feel more like the DC Extended Universe, while phase 5 here will feel more like the MCU, because it's all building up to something. The Infinity Saga anyway, not the new saga. It sucks. So, where did this all start? It started when I was in 3rd grade. I decided I wanted to write short stories. And here's an actual picture of me in 3rd grade. Ignore the copyright thing. Just ignore that. That doesn't exist. Basically, in 3rd grade, I wrote a lot of short stories. What was the first short story I ever wrote? That would be Piggy Dude. Basically, it's about a Piggy Dude guy who lived in a Piggy Dude world, but he would come down to our world and get caught in crazy adventures. Basically, like very comedic, like a very stupid character who does stupid things. So basically, just like a normal person is a pig. So what inspired me to make a superhero? Well, when I was in 3rd grade, a certain game came out, a Lego game, I should say, about a hero. Of course, I'm talking about Lego Batman video game. And as a side effect of this game being what inspired me to make my own superhero, the city my hero was based in was Gotham City. So the stories were called Gotham City, Gotham City 2. And little kid me planned 39 installments. Why 39 and not 40? Well, I was a fan of Star Wars and how it was told in trilogies. Like there's the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy. So it was going to be told in trilogies. Basically, it was set in a city called Gotham City. The name will be changed to Cityville. There's kind of the layout there. So what was my hero like? What did he look like at the time when I first created him?
Oh, hell
Well, he was just a guy who wore a hood, but he was extremely overpowered. He could basically do anything he wanted. He was basically a god. And one day when I was a little kid, I was pretending to be my superhero while I was outside in the backyard. I came up with the idea of Diamond Man. Since diamonds are like the hardest material on Earth, but people say it's the strongest when it's really the hardest, and there is a difference. I decided to go with diamonds because a lot of people associate it with strength. I decided his weakness would be emeralds, because it has to be another gemstone. Anyway, that is how Diamond Man came to be. He will of course go through more changes that we will discuss in the future in other videos. But yeah, that's what he looks like, kind of. It's not the best. It's not exactly. She's probably not even close to what I picture him as, but whatever. Anyway, thanks for watching.